Welcome back to Flow Tricks. Dark Shadow Nunchucks requested to send me a pair of their new prototypes so that I could review them, and lo and behold, when they came in, it turns out that they actually sent me 3 of them. Go Dark Shadow. So this is my official review for Dark Shadow Nunchucks. So let's go over my first impressions. As soon as I pulled them out of the box, they were in this container that was very protected. It was a long tube, and then they almost looked like they were suspended inside the middle of the tube. So the shipping looks great. I have no doubts that you would get your nunchucks and you would not have any problems at all with the way they're shipped, because they look very protected. Now, one thing I've noticed is how ornately designed that each one of these nunchucks are. This isn't just, I get 3 different nunchucks and they have a slightly different look. They actually have a slightly different design. As you can see, for instance, this one has holes in it. And I don't know if you can hear this, but as I spin it, you can actually hear a slight whirling noise about it. And for this one, for instance, you can see this really cool, this is called Fire and Ice, if I remember right. It moves from like this very light reddish pink to this blue, and you can actually see like the way it crosses over. It looks wonderful. And the last one, and you may not be able to see it well, so I may do some close-ups. It's a very solid squared off chuck that is, they have like these very smooth rounded edges across each one, almost to the point where you could use this to measure your hand grip and how far they are, because I don't know if you can see this, but there's indentions that go across each one. Now as I slide my hand through it, I can also feel how very smooth it is. There's a great attention to detail and making sure that this just feels extremely fluid in your hands. I have to say, these nunchucks feel very dense and very powerful. There's a very careful attention to the metal, but keep in mind that these are metal. And with that said, if you're brand new to nunchucks, this is probably not the chuck for you to start with, because these will definitely punish you. These are the real deal, guys. So if you're an advanced spinner, I would highly recommend these chucks as something that you can use as an addition to all your other chuck training. This is something that you would want to spin if either you want to showcase it to someone, kind of show off a little bit with very good, amazing looking chucks. It's also something that you could use if someone were to break into my house, for instance. This would be the first chuck I would go to. I did a smash test with this one, and the results were pretty astonishing. First, I smashed it at the box that it came in, and not only did it tear a hole in the box, it got stuck in the box. As I did a sideways slash, it actually went straight into the box, and the box was stuck onto the chuck. So I tried smashing various different props. Now this is not something that I would say that you should try, but I tried smashing into various objects just to see. And my end result is that these are serious nunchucks. These are not play nunchucks. That's not to say you can't play with them. That's just it's kind of like if you had a practice sword as opposed to a samurai sword that was a little bit sharper. You don't want to jump straight into the samurai sword if you're learning sword. You want to start with a practice sword. These nunchucks are serious in that way too. It's not something that I recommend for beginners, but for advanced users, even intermediate users that are careful, and also for people that use it for self-defense, these are amazing. And again, these look great in your hands or even on the wall. These are very ornately designed. They're not just necessarily made just for combat or for show, but I mean they actually have a very nice design. Like I could hang these on the wall and they would look awesome. So with that said, I took a look at this, and what you can see, I have shorter roped ones. I had specifically asked for these. Usually I'm used to thicker chucks like the oat chucks, the fire chucks, and the foamies. So I'm not used to the thinness of these chucks yet. So that's not to say though that other people who use the speed chucks or the XMA chucks would have much of a transition at all. But for myself, since I'm not used to using them, I'll give a demonstration of these chucks, but just know that I'm still learning like this new style. I deliberately got them shorter because I feel like if I was going to get something like this, if I was going to get a new kind of prototype chuck, why don't I actually try a new style with it too? So I'm working this new style as well, because as you can see there, I can't do my the moves that I used to do. You may be wondering, well, why would I get shorter roped ones as opposed to longer ones? Because now I can't do like two-handed moon waves. But you do have advantages with shorter rope as well. Now I do know Dark Shadow Nunchucks had asked me how long I wanted it. So if you're wondering, well, are they all going to be this short? And the answer is no, you can customize it. You just have to tell him before you get it. I had asked him to make them short just because I didn't have any short ones, but he can definitely make them longer as well. Durability, these are excellent. I put it to the test. Like I said, I'm still getting used to it, but the way they flow when I do get used to these chucks, it's different. It's unlike anything that I've ever spun before. I have noticed and it could be for the shorter rope, or it could be the fact that these are metal, but I have noticed that my throws are better as you hold them lower. If you hold them too high, your throws will be a little bit warbly, just because the balancing point is just a little bit lower, as you can see, than the average like foamy or even oak chuck. So keep that in mind as well if you have these. The only other thing I can think of is that I just can't get over how wonderful they look. They look incredible. They're very effective too. Like I said, if you ever need this in a self-defense scenario, or if you just want to showcase or show off, just keep in mind, as the great quote goes, with great power comes great responsibility. If you can handle the power of these chucks, you will be rewarded greatly.